next.
If you were to check Larry Mike Garmon's room at Altus High School during school hours, you'd find one of his several English courses underway. But it's after school where the shadows deepen and the atmosphere darkens. I'm Galen Culver on The Next Great State, one teacher who moonlights as a writer of weird tales, coming up on Oklahoma's News Channel 4.
NBC.
It's one of the great mysteries in a student's life.
What do your teachers do when they're not in class? Well, naturally, everyone has their own unique interest. But Galen Culver found an English teacher in Altus whose after-school career involves tales from the dark side.
What else have you heard about Edgar Allan Poe?
This time of year, you'd think it natural for an English teacher to be talking about the life of Edgar Allan Poe.
Who was his wife? Somebody give me a name.
Great American author of dark tales like The Raven and Telltale Heart.
Poe was about 5'7" tall, a very thin man.
A teacher like Larry Mike Garmon enjoys telling his Altus High School sophomores about the author's difficult life.
What, wrote a poem for his dead wife? What's the name of that poem? Annabelle Lee.
But if you were to look around Mr. Garmon's classroom, you might suspect he's a little too familiar with the dark side of the human condition. Notice, if you will, the Raven sitting permanently atop the overhead projector, or the old pulp comics on the wall.
I grew up reading comic books, and they really helped me to get into writing.
There is a reason for all this stuff. Some of it is good teaching material for one of this school's most popular educators.
I've been telling stories since I was a little kid.
The rest is fodder for a literary mind that is free to roam once the students have emptied the halls and the tight confines of his own class.
I just like that type of tale. It just seems like it's a region where we weren't supposed to go, and as a child, I went a lot of places I wasn't supposed to go, including in literature. So his bride. He would force Frankenstein to give him the DNA serum to reverse his tissues and organs' slow decay.
He's always been a spinner of dark tales, but over the past couple of years, Larry's been writing a series of teen horror novels for Universal Studios, putting the famous Gothic monsters into a 21st century setting.
The stories, when I tell people, they're not really about the monsters, they're about the three teenagers. And they're about the problems they go through, and they just so happen to have to fight these monsters, and they have a chemistry exam, and they had to put up with bullies at school.
He finished with the series earlier this year, and now Mr. Garmon is off on another literary adventure, exploring the shadows for stories that give us the chills, and making tomorrow's lesson plan, too. In Altus, Galen Culver News, Channel 4. Is this a great state or what?
Larry Mike Garmon teaches basic English and courses in mythology at Altus High School. And aside from writing his teen horror stories, Mr. Garmon has lately been writing storylines for video games.
The most accurate forecast with the